Welcome to Problem Solve, the podcast where me and a special co-host solve all your problems really easily, probably.
Problems? Are you kidding me? I don't have any problems. Okay, I might have a few, but I can work on them with you. Come on.
Talia, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Talia Lickstein. I'm I don't know what I describe it as, a yapper on the internet. I yap all day long on TikTok and Instagram. And that's how I know Jeff. And I'm just so excited to be guesting today with you all.
I know, right? Yeah, that's how I found you on TikTok, probably like many other people. And I love your yappy rants.
Thank you.
They feed my soul. They're really good. How long have you been on TikTok?
I remember I downloaded it during my semester abroad. That was the first time I ever made a video, and that was in 2020, and then the world shut down. And then when I graduated college, I really started taking it seriously and like trying to build up a following. Mm-hmm. So I want to say June or July 2021 was when I would call myself having started TikTok. Mm-hmm. And it's really changed my life. It's quite a gift. I've met wonderful people, and it pays for my rent. It's pretty great.
That's great.
It's not bad. Yeah.
Are you still having fun like creating content on there? Does it kind of get to you every now and then?
Oh man, does it get to me? Nobody's built for this. Like even no. You make the most like beautiful and easy to consume content in the world. It's not like you're angry yelling at people like I am all day. I think I get my anger out on there. You're on here. I feel so comforted and so peaceful coming to your account. And I'm sure you have your days of like, who are these fucking people? Like no one is built to withstand this much feedback about themselves, their looks, their opinions. So it has its upsides of I have this like cool, creative, flexible way of making a living. But the downside is I'm sure I've suffered mental repercussions I don't even know about. So, yeah, to answer your question, I don't love it all the time. But fortunately, there's nothing else I can do. Like this is my skill. This is literally what I have to do with my life at this point. But it's a pretty good deal. As far as jobs go, I do love it.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like that's a really balanced sort of view on it. And yeah, I don't think that any of us are built for it. I was not built for it. I'm such a sensitive baby. So any type of negative feedback or like actual good criticism, and I want to die.
There you go.
It's incredibly difficult for me to be on the internet, and but I still do it. But I took like about almost a month and a half off. I stopped posting videos on TikTok and Instagram for August, and then I think it was this morning that I was like, I'm going to try to like step back into it and make a post. And I posted and I was just like, I don't even want to fucking read the comments. The comments are probably fine. The comments are probably lovely. Like, welcome back. We've missed you. Right. Whatever. I'm just like, I don't want to try to manage this. I don't want to worry about the feedback. It just feels like a real like toxic machine, just sort of TikTok and Instagram, the algorithm and everything.
Totally is.
So I have mixed feelings.
100%. We're in the same sort of, maybe it has to do with the moon or something, but we're having the same sort of week. Like I have also been my flow kind of came back for the first time in a while, and I've been putting out more stuff, but I took a very, very long, like designated break. I really stepped away. And the way that this works, I guess this is true with any job, but like you take a little vacation and it's so refreshing to not be looking and worrying that I've ticked somebody off or that I'm going to open my phone to a bunch of negativity. And also just it gets a little bit annoying and hard to my type of content. I document a lot of my life, my daily life, and I try to find the humor in that, which sometimes minding your own life and remembering to film parts of your life gets a little exhausting and you get a little addicted to not doing it after a while.
Right.
So I think I meant to take like 2 weeks of just, okay, let's be off my phone. And it turned into literally months, to the point where my mom, who's like my biggest and sometimes only fan, she's like, the people need you, girl. Get out there. And it's really bad that you haven't made a video in so long. And she's like texting me every other day, like, it's time to post. The algorithm's not going to take you back, girl. See how your views went down? You gotta post. She knows more about it than I do. She's my momager.
Yeah.
So now I'm back. I'm back on the horse. And my views are, she's totally right. She's like, you're chasing a falling sword. Your views are going to tank if you don't post this week. Now I'm posting. She's like, see how your views went down? Now you have to post every day. Sorry.
Oh, God. The pressure.
Yeah, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Where can people find you on TikTok? What's your username?
Oh, well, you know what? I'll spell it out because nobody knows how. It's Talia, Talia. My last name, Lichstein, Lichttstein. Type in Talia L, it'll come up. It's probably me.
Yeah,
it's probably me.
And we'll link to it in the show notes.
Wonderful.
All right, we're going to answer some questions together. Andrea, Can you play the first question for us?
Hi, Jeff. I'm calling with a very specific issue that you might be the perfect person to talk to about. My boyfriend has really bad taste in TV shows. He loves reality TV, and I do not. I'm a very sweet girlfriend, though, so for the past year of dating, I've watched so many of his shows, like Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, The Bachelorette, # keep the main thing the main thing. But when it comes time for him to watch one of my TV shows, like, I don't know, the universally loved, Emmy-nominated The Bear, we watch a few episodes, I get invested, he does not, and in fact, he quits on me and abandons me and leaves me to watch the rest of the series all by myself. So I'm growing resentful that he's not willing to go on my TV show journeys with me, but I'm willing to go on his with him. So do you have any advice for me and my dumb boyfriend, especially since you are my dumb boyfriend? I love you so much. Thanks for your help, honey.
That's great.
How do you feel about The Bear?
You know, I haven't watched, but I did sleep with somebody who's on the show. So I've watched his episodes because I think he's like such a sweet guy. He was so sweet, and we are still like buddies. So I'm like so psyched to know someone on this popular show, and everyone's like, "Are you into it?" And I couldn't get into it, but I'm always telling everyone. But you know that character? I fucked him. It's kind of cool. That's my like claim to fame.
That's pretty good. That is a good claim to fame.
Yeah. I hear it's great.
Why couldn't you get into it?
Probably the same reason you can't. I don't know if for some reason, I mean, I can think of a lot of shows that I said at the time or shortly after they came out, I couldn't really get into. And for years, I just thought of it that way in my head. And then one day I picked it back up, and I guess I was in the right headspace and I became addicted. I watched Girls on HBO for the first time in 2017. Didn't get it. Couldn't get into it. Now I've rewatched it 4 times this year. I think it's so relevant to my life now, and I really like it. So it's just, I'm sure I'll like The Bear next year. It's just not the time for me.
Yeah,
Love is Blind, however.
Love is Blind is great. The Bachelorette, Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, Bachelorette, all these love reality shows, they are garbage. But if you're watching with me, it is. My commentary is epic. I'm so fucking funny. Not only am I funny when I watch these shows, but I'm a therapist that analyzes everything correctly. So you get this very inside baseball sort of, it's such a pleasure. It's a joy to watch all of these love reality shows with me. And you know what? You don't have to fucking watch these shows with me anymore if you don't want to. But I think that you're having a really good time, and it's one of our favorite ways that we connect together. So, but she's not wrong about The Bear, and also what's that other new Netflix show with Nicole Kidman? And it's about rich people. Someone murdered somebody. It's
Perfect Couple.
Perfect Couple. Yeah,
I haven't seen that either. I hear it's good.
Oh my God, it's fucking garbage, Talia. No, it's
really?
Not good. And it's also it's The Bear and that show. One of the similar things that they do is that for me, I'm watching it. These people you've seen The Bear, and it's just like, oh my God, they're acting so hard. Like, they're just like, I'm acting here, I'm cooking here. It's just like, get the
Right.
fuck out. Like, it's so over the top, unbelievable, that I can't. So it just feels like they're just trying to be the best actors they can be, and I can't stand it. It's so cringy. It's the same sort of feeling, and you can cancel me about this if you want, but like when I go to like, if I see a show on Broadway, like see theater, I just want to be like, you are so like, don't you know you're just pretending? Like, don't you know that you're just like, this is so silly. You're being so ridiculous. This is so fucking embarrassing for you. It's the same feeling I get when I watch The Bear or Perfect Couple. Just like, I get it. You're trying to be the best actor ever.
I understand. I feel similarly. I'm in between both of you in that I appreciate many narrative written shows and professional entertainers, but I love reality. I like Love is Blind a lot, but I watch like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, and I'm like, why are we pretending that these two people have ever had a real conversation? Like, I just feel like they keep saying like, I really, me and Emily really connect. And I'm like, I guess I believe you, but I've literally never seen you speak privately. Like, I get that they cut the show and it has for length. I can't see all their conversations, but I'm kind of not buying it. Then of course there's a villain every year, and it's like, oh, I feel the same way. I'm like, really? You think you thought that was such a like line that you just gave, like giving her like Sophia LaCourte moment where she's like, sounds like a Disney villain. Like all these like Love is Blind villains have to give some crazy like one-liner. I'm sitting here like, oh, come on. Are you really that upset that you're missing out on this like sales associate who's 28 named Peter from Buffalo? Like, it's not like they're really bachelors. Like, a bachelor is someone who is really worldly and established and like has a lot going for him, ambitious. I'm thinking he's got to speak 3 languages, great head of hair. That's a bachelor that people are fighting over. Who is this like 26-year-old, like works for Southwest Airlines, like lives with his mom? Like, this is not a bachelor. This is a guy named Pete or whatever. So to me, it's like, this is entertaining, but you're not going to get me to buy that you're like actually fighting over this guy. Come on. I get what she's saying. You know what I mean?
I get what she's saying. It's just
everyone has their thing, their preference.
Yeah. I mean, you make great points. She makes great points. I do request that she go on these journeys with me because I think it's like so fun and ridiculous and silly. And I think she does have a good time with me, but she's also sort of compromising. Like, this is important to Jeff, so I'm going to go. And I don't do the same because I don't have as much patience, or I just can't sit through a fucking show that I can't stand. It drives me crazy. So it's something I need to work on. I don't feel good about it. I feel a little called out. And she makes sacrifices, and I need to start making sacrifices. Andrea, the producer, put it in the little chat that she thinks The Bear is the perfect show. I think a lot of people think that The Bear is the perfect show because there's nothing else good on TV. Like, we all say there's so much on TV, but right now there's a fucking drought. And so The Bear kind of shines. I
totally agree with you. And okay, there was this tweet that went viral and got so much flack. It was somebody quoting somebody talking about Succession and saying like, this is the best show of all time. And the person quoted and was like, not to be a dick, but I feel like this is a lot of you guys' like first good show. As in, like, it's not like Succession is like a legendary show, in my opinion. I don't think it'll go down in history the way that like Seinfeld has. Obviously different genres, but you get it. Like, there are legendary shows and there are just really high quality, good, well-written shows. And I think for a lot of people, the way that they spoke about Succession, it's like, it's not that good. It's just that this is your first time watching good dialogue. And there's not enough of it. If there were 3 more shows with great dialogue, you would not find this show to be that great. It's just that there's a drought. And also people just, they don't know where to watch. Like, everything on FX I think is better than Succession, but whatever. Anyway, if anyone wants to like read my pilots at HBO, like, hit me up, whatever. Big fan. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm also trying to think of like, what advice would I give to somebody who's, I'm feeling very like personally attacked here, and so I want to defend how stupid the bear is, but
Sure.
you got to do things. Like, I probably could just allow myself to get invested in the bear or the perfect couple and get over myself. You know what I mean? And I think,
Yeah.
my girlfriend knew what she was getting into. I'm somebody that has a hard time getting over themselves. But still, I don't think that's an excuse. I need to put like my shit aside, and we can, I promise you, we'll start up the bear again this weekend if it's really important to you.
Yeah.
That's what I have to
And
say.
maybe you can compromise on like once a week you both choose a movie that sounds really good to you, and then it's not such a big investment of your time, and you can both like have a little connection over an hour-long movie, and that can be your thing, your watching thing.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is I'm just like, I love every movie that Vince Vaughn is in, and she's like, get the fuck out of here with that Vince Vaughn bullshit.
Okay, why are you dating someone with no taste?
Right?
Sorry.
Is that the problem here?
Your money and you don't even know it, baby. I don't understand. Come on. Vince Vaughn is, I've famously always believed that like, if there are celebrities that I would never approach or that I wouldn't advise anyone else to approach, because it's like Vince Vaughn doesn't seem like he wants to sit talking to a fan. Like, he's got better stuff to do. He seems like he wouldn't be that nice to everybody. Vince Vaughn would love me. Like, Vince Vaughn would love to chat with me. Libertarians love me. They think I'm so funny. And he would like be happy to sit and chat. Like, I would approach him 100%. I'm really attracted to him. Like, I totally get the appeal. Totally.
Oh, God. I'm in love with Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn would adore you. You should definitely go up to Vince Vaughn. Where does he live?
I've
I guess
always
I'm
said
imagining
that.
he's in LA somewhere.
You know what? I always forget. I saw him at the Taylor Swift concert, but it just wasn't a good time. He was in VIP with his kids, I guess. He wore a blazer. I was like, okay, dressing up. Good for you, Vince. And I think he still looks great. He's so tall. He's one of my types. I love like big brunette oaf, like giant guys. And I like him. But yeah, he would like me a lot. Like, we'd like kind of bicker in a cute way about politics and stuff, and he'd be like, she's fiery. I like it. He'd find me fun.
He was also like drop dead gorgeous in Swingers, remember? Oh my fucking God. Yeah.
Also, one of Monica's hottest boyfriends and friends was Jon Favreau. They're both hot. And anyone who doesn't get it, it's an acquired taste. It's a mature taste. But he was hot. I'm sorry, this is way too much information. Feel free to cut it. I'm very open about this stuff. But like, one of the first things, I watched this movie way too young as a child, and it was like the first thing I ever masturbated to. 4 Christmases. Have you seen? They're both in that. Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn.
Trust me, I know. And it's actually the best scene in that movie is when they're playing
the
Taboo.
Cards?
Yes.
I was obsessed. Like, I found him to be so commanding and attractive. It was like the first time I remember getting horny. As like, maybe I was 13. I was so into it, and I love Vince too. And how the opening scene, spoiler alert, is they like him and Reese Witherspoon, who apparently fucking hate each other, were like pretending to not know each other at a bar, and then they go home together, and they have this wonderful relationship where they just don't have kids, and they're like having double income, no kids, living the dream. I'm like, this is it. Like, this was actually what established my dreams and goals in life. I love both of them in that movie.
Oh,
so
God, I feel so connected to you right now. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah. Oh, God, Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. Legends. I love them.
They're great.
They're amazing. They're peak humans. Okay, I think we answered that question. Problem solved. Let's go on to the next question, Andrea.
Hi, Jeff. I absolutely love your content, both for your humor and how you address the frustrating ups and downs of dating, as well as your candor, which is what I'm hoping to get with my question here today. I have a pretty pitiful dating history. I'm 28 years old, which I know isn't very old in the relative scheme of things. However, throughout my entire history of dating, I've never had a relationship last more than a few months, which I know isn't a completely unheard of issue. However, every single relationship goes the exact same way. It starts with the man that I'm seeing being very interested in me, almost overly interested in me, to the point where I have to request for things to slow down sometimes because they're so enthusiastic, wanting to see me multiple days in a row, telling me, how wonderful I am. And the relationship will seemingly progress in a positive way. And for example, in my most recent relationship, we shared within those first few months a lot of vulnerable and intimate moments. He really opened up to me a lot about a lot of things that he was going through, and I was there for him through that. And he told me how wonderful of a person I am and all of these very nice things. And then at a certain point, after a few months, they become increasingly distant, and I will ask them if something is going on. And I get the same answer every single time. They tell me that nothing's wrong. I didn't do anything wrong, but they just have realized that they don't have strong enough feelings for me. And I kid you not, that line has been exactly fed to me in every single relationship where the guy I was seeing has ended it. And it feels like such a pattern at this point that I really just want to understand, what could I be doing to contribute to this pattern in my life. All these men have been very different types of people. I, generally was interested in them because we had a lot of things in common and that we had good conversation and we had fun hanging out with each other. But so in my mind, it feels like I've just been dating people that I get along with well. However, there seems to be a deeper issue here. So I'm curious what your thoughts might be based on what I've shared with you. Thank you.
That's all you, my friend.
You got nothing for me?
Look, I am sure I will in a second, but I've been thinking, I thought I heard this earlier today, and I was thinking, I think it's really commendable that someone would be able to, after all these guys who, to me, sound clearly like sort of immature, love bomby types, she can still look inward and be like, but what's my common denominator? What's my issue? And actually want to talk about it. That's a sign of maturity that I think is like the first big step in conquering this issue, in my opinion. I don't know. You're the pro. Let's hear.
Yeah, I mean, part of me is just like, babe, you're 28. You're dating in your 20s, right? Like,
right.
This is, and if you're dating in your 20s, and you're probably dating maybe other guys in their 20s or maybe 30s possibly, but this is just sort of like the shit show that's available for you. This is, okay, she's a common denominator. We'll get to that in a second. But I think that there's also like, we can probably put a lot of blame on these dudes and how they're affecting these wonderful women into thinking that like they're the fucking problem.
Right.
I think it's like a pretty common, I don't know, somebody saying like, what did she say they said to her? Like, I like you, but I don't have strong feelings for you, or some bullshit. It sounds like a line. It sounds like they're not really telling you everything that they're feeling. It sounds like they're avoiding an intimate relationship. They're keeping themselves from really actually connecting with you and being in a long-term relationship, if that's what you're looking for. So I want to blame the guys, and there's probably a lot to blame there, but she's asking us to try to figure out if there's something that she's doing here, how she's contributing to all this mess. And, I feel like the easy sort of therapy 101 answer here is like, Are you attracted to men that are just not really emotionally available? Which I hate that answer because it's such like a common, what are you supposed to fucking do with that kind of thing, I guess? Like, I don't know,
Right.
go to therapy about it. But there's probably something there. And the thing is that it sucks because you don't get to find out if someone is emotionally unavailable until you've like attached to them, until it's been 3 to 6 months or something. So it's a
Right.
real fucking bum deal. And it makes sense that you're trying to figure out, like, is there something that I'm doing that's magnetizing and attracting these guys? So first is like, maybe you're attracted to these dopes. Another is that, are you not opening up in a way where they can really connect with you? It sounds like they're opening up and you're there for them, and that's very sweet. But are you also being vulnerable? Are you also being really emotionally honest with things that you've gone through or how much you like them? Is there something like, it sounds like the relationship just isn't sticky enough. They're not sticking. And sometimes we create that stickiness by being really emotionally open and vulnerable, like how they are on The Bachelor and Bachelorette, this wonderful show that teaches us very important lessons about being vulnerable. But so those are like the first couple places that I go. I don't know. How do you
Right.
feel about that?
I like what you say about, I was worried to say it myself, so I'm glad you brought it up. But to me, it just sounds like dating in your 20s, a lot of it. And I hate to say, maybe you're attracted to these people because it feels kind of like a girl blamey thing. Like, I don't want
Right.
to blame you for like how shitty guys are, but like a lot of them are bad. And I think you just develop your radar with time to like sometimes be able to spot them a little bit quicker. And that's the only thing that makes like speeds things up and makes it a little easier. But I also think that, wait, what the fuck was I just going to say? Oh, now I'm doing the thing where, where like a guy like loses boner and then he starts panicking. Now he really can't get back the boner.
I don't know
Oh,
anything
man.
about that. I'm always rock hard 100% of the time. I've never not had a boner. Oh, okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
I got my boner. back. We're rock hard, baby.
Good.
I was going to say that I feel like the theory that a lot of women are always parroting about how women mature a little faster than men. And, it's like dog years and human years. Like, we like age a little faster. Like, however old you are, a guy is always like a little younger, whatever. I do believe in that to an extent.
I
And I
believe in
do
that.
find that like men do mature slower when it comes to just emotional intelligence. And I'm curious to know how old the guys are that she's dating. I'm 25. The last actual relationship I had was with someone who's 28. And that was like, honestly felt a little young for me. I skew on the older side, but I felt like, 28, like we're going to be in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
This man was mentally a wonderful guy, but mentally, like emotionally, a lot younger than me. Like, that's just how it is. And there's nothing wrong with him, but like, he just isn't, like, they are mentally like younger than us. I think like it wouldn't, I'm just curious how old these guys are. I don't think it would hurt to try and go a little bit older. Maybe if you hit like the 34-year-old mark, they'll feel like they're 28. You know what I mean? I feel like we're always like 5 years ahead of them. So you're less likely to get screwed over, I think, when you're just go a little bit older. Not too much, because then they're weird, but never younger. It's just,
I support that. I think that's true.
Yeah.
There is, not only do boys like develop emotionally later than girls in childhood, but there's also the whole, I don't know, culture and societal messages that boys are still getting, and we got a long time ago too, of like, it's don't be vulnerable, emotions are weak, and it's sort of like this message that maybe you shouldn't emotionally evolve or boost your emotional intelligence. So a lot of times you got to wait for those guys to come around. And you might want to date some folks in their 30s. That might be a better shot. But I was also thinking the same thing, as how old are these boys that you're dating? It's also kind of, I don't know, app swipe culture or whatever. Like, this is also just kind of like a thing that's happening nowadays, that a lot of folks are spending less time in relationships. So that might be part of the reason why. I think that she's looking for the caller wants us to come up with here's the reason, this is what you got to stop doing or start doing, and then you'll fix it. But I think this is just more, you just got to keep on dating. I don't think that you should be blaming yourself for it 100%. I don't know if that's what you're doing. I love that you're being curious about like, how are you contributing to this? Look how emotionally mature you are, and maybe date like slightly older guys.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think that's good. And
Yeah.
the apps, you're totally right. I have a theory that men also being, I think, a little bit more interested in the idea of options. Like men like that there could always be someone else out there even better than what they've scored, and then their ego will feel more, you know? So I think that people knowing that they can just open their phone and get 100 options that feel realistic to them right now, maybe stay away from dating apps more. Like, I don't know. I just think that guys who are on dating apps might be more inclined to, after 3 months, start to reevaluate and say, I can do better. And you don't want people like that. Like, you want people who are happy with you, you know?
Yeah. You want people that are happy with you, happy with themselves. It reminds me, when I first got here to Portland and became a baby therapist, I had a supervisor, and he was this guy that he was a therapist, and he would go to the law schools and the medical schools in the Portland area because all of those schools were experiencing the same sort of problem with the boys that were going to law school and medical school. If they were dating somebody and then they eventually graduated or got their degree or became a doctor, 80% of the time they would break up with whoever they're dating because they're just like, I'm a fucking doctor now, or I'm a fucking lawyer.
Right.
Like, I can do better.
Right.
And it was this weird epidemic where like there were so many relationships that were breaking up once these men got this degree that they thought made them like so fucking amazing and even more likable or appealing or something. And I feel like that happens now just all the time. It's not just the lawyers and doctors that are being dicks and think that they deserve better or whatever. It's just like these random fucking bros, Pete from Southwest, like who's just on the apps and he thinks he's the fucking shit.
Right.
And he's like breaking hearts with this caller that's just like, I just want a nice, cute relationship. So I don't know what we're supposed to do about this, but you just got to keep on trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take it up with whoever wins the election. That'll be like one of the big things. This isn't our thing to deal with. It's like too widespread of a problem.
It feels like something that the president needs to do something about. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's an epidemic. Like the boys really thinking that. I mean, I'm very interested in the fact that young people aren't dating as much. And I've been working on a project about incel culture and men and how they're just either they really feel unworthy of women or less than, so they just don't pursue them at all. And that's more the incel thing, or they feel so above them, like these lawyers and doctors, these recent grads, that they're not pursuing them at all. And then they wind up looking around and being like, nobody's left anymore. It's a real problem, exacerbated by like internet fandoms around the Tates and Sneeko and whatever. It's like I am literally serious. Like the government's got to do something. It's not your individual fault, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, there are these like
it's a
very
issue.
Yeah, these communities are out there that are just sort of magnetizing these boys, and it feels probably like psychologically I would imagine that it's easier to join these groups of incels or whatever and be really angry than take a look at yourself and understand how you can change or grow or be more attractive to partners, or how you can have like a integrated view of women and learn how to connect with them in mature, emotionally responsible ways. It's so easy to be angry and it's so difficult to grow and evolve. And so I think that, like, you know, these communities, these online communities have never been easier to join. And you can just be on fucking Twitter and there you go. You're in the biggest incel bullshit community there ever was, right? So
There you go.
There's that, yeah. Okay, all right, end of rant. Problem solved. Good luck out there.
Perfect.
Andrea, can you play question number 3?
Hi, Jeff. I love everything that you do. You're a rad human, and I really hope you can help. And I'm really sorry if this ends up being kind of long, but I really need advice. My greatest fear in the entire fucking world is that my brain is going to fail me. And it's not a matter of if, but when, because I have a history of alcohol abuse and traumatic brain injury, and I have both Alzheimer's genes. I will eventually lose my mind, and it scares the absolute shit out of me. My wife of 10 years, for a long time, really loved making fun of this fact. Specifically, my issues around memory. I have shit memory between, again, the brain injuries and the ADHD. My memory is garbage. About 2 years ago, I finally said something to her. I said, look, I need you to stop making fun of my memory. Like, it's really fucking me up. She got kind of defensive and gave me some pushback about it, but agreed to not do it, but then turned around and continued doing it. Till eventually I blew up about it and we got in a huge fight, and she said that she feels like she has to walk on eggshells around me or else I'm going to go kill myself. She said this in front of our 7-year-old, no less, which was super fucking cool, and still refuses to this day to apologize. Thing is, she stopped making fun of me for the memory and brain issues and stuff, and now she finds new shit to make fun of me about. It's like her brain is an insecurity-seeking missile, and I know that she probably thinks that it's just playful ribbing, just a little teasing, but it doesn't feel that way on my end, and I've tried telling her that, and she does not listen. To the point where I've just stopped bringing it up, but it still sucks. It still sucks so hard, to the point where I'm thinking about getting a fucking divorce. I feel insane. I feel silly as shit contemplating ending a 10-year marriage because she makes fun of me, but I'm fucking miserable. Please help.
Oh no.
Oh no. I love this guy. I love
Me
him.
too.
I also get, I would imagine if I was in his place, contemplating ending a 10-year marriage, and you have a family, you have a child together, because you're getting made fun of. I get how that feels. Maybe he might feel pathetic or really silly or ridiculous for wanting to end a relationship because he's getting picked on. But it sounds like he feels like he's getting bullied by his wife.
I think if it's this bad that you've contemplated a divorce over it, it's not actually about the jokes as much as it is just the foundation of your relationship. Yes, you can say it's the jokes, and maybe the jokes are a manifestation of how you feel like the relationship is and how she views you and whatever. Jokes are, as a person who's often been the one in the defensive position saying, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, are you going to fucking kill yourself? Because that is literally, I can't even tell you how many times I think I've uttered that statement. I am that person who's always going a little too far. I don't think people have broken up with me over it, but it's, if someone were contemplating divorcing me, even though we have a child over this, it's that they fundamentally have a problem with my personality and how I connect with people, view the world. Humor is a huge indicator of a person's character and how they feel about you and how they move through the world, I think. For me, it's a huge part of my personality. I could never be married to someone or share a kid with someone who really most of the time felt that I was insensitive to them because of my humor. They have to either get me or they don't, but they can't be always offended. I just think that it's a bigger indicator. It's not just the jokes. I think that there's other stuff, and the jokes are a manifestation of a person's personality that you're not gelling with. And I wouldn't just tell somebody with a 7-year-old to think about a divorce. I'm just saying maybe you guys need to go to couples therapy or something. I don't know if Jeff's podcast is enough, Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. Oftentimes, if you're going to joke with your person, they're like Talia, you're saying, there needs to be a secure foundation already in the relationship. And if you don't have a secure foundation, then the jokes are going to feel mean. They're going to feel abusive. They're going to feel upsetting, whatever. So I think you bring up a really good point, is that there's probably something going on underneath this. And it might have something to do, it could be related in that you just don't feel heard in this relationship. You feel like you're not being understood in this relationship. You feel like you're not being like there isn't space created for you in this relationship or something. There's something probably connected to this. You want to be respected. You want to be seen as an equal. You know, there's something about her making fun of you that could be sort of like symbolic for what's going on here in the relationship. It also sounds like, you know, he said that he's kind of like maybe, I don't know, like shutting down or something. He's like not bringing it up as much, maybe because he did for so long. She sort of changed it, but it's still really hurting him. This is it. I also, like you though, have been in that situation where I like to joke around, I like to poke, I like to tease,
Right.
and oftentimes 50% of the relationships that I've been in I get the feedback of like, you need to fucking cool it here, guy.
Right.
And that's hard for me to do. So I'm
It's
not
how
trying
some
to.
people are.
Yeah, I know. It's how we show love sometimes. So
Right.
that's the thing too, is that I imagine, sure, she might be kind of a bully a little bit, but this is her way of loving you, is with like
Right.
the constant ribbing and the making a fun, you know. And so maybe if you can give it back to her, that'd be like a playful thing that you can both do together. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that, oh my God, there goes my boner again. I keep getting distracted because of the fucking Amazon guy. What I'm saying is, I think that also the way that he explained his fears over this and how it's like a huge, takes up a lot of space in his brain, his forgetfulness and his future.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell, and I don't know this guy and I didn't see his face. I can tell, I can hear his concern. I can see that this is a huge deal to him. And people want to be able, when something is like plaguing them and worrying them that much, and it's just an inevitable thing, like it sounds like it is. The point of a partner is to have somebody in your home and in your life where you feel like you can talk about this whenever you want. Like you can just dump about your concerns and be able to address it without ever feeling like you're being too much. You know what I mean? Or you're over talking the subject. And maybe her joking or however she's treating you feels like she's just not taking it, like she's over it. She's not taking it seriously enough. And I think the actual problem is you just don't feel like you're being heard or seen, as Jeff said. But I don't know. I think that also a huge part of it is if you're going to have this, my style in friendships and relationships, if someone's going to have this big part of their life that you seem to have accepted, that this is just like a part of you, you're going to lose your mind one day. You're going to be forgetful. If I'm your wife, I'll sit and listen to you talk about it all day and I'll rub your head and tell you it's going to be okay. But once in a while, you're going to have to let me make a joke about how you forgot the fucking groceries. That's who you are. This is a huge part of your life. I'm sorry if I'm going to say like, haha, did you forget? Like, that's going to be part of it. It's just who we are. So once in a while, you got to let her make a joke. I think that's like being an adult person, but you need to make sure you're being taken seriously is the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. And if you are actually contemplating ending this marriage, I don't remember if he said this, but you need to let her know that that's how much this is affecting you, that you're thinking about, getting a divorce because you're so upset or hurt or disrespected or whatever it is. And I don't know, there's also kind of like a price of admission thing. Like maybe you probably knew the type of comedic style or the way that she liked to relate in relationships. And this is just like a part of her personality. It sounds like it's something really difficult for her to change, kind of like what we're saying here. So there has to be some sort of acceptance, I would imagine. But I'm sorry this is happening to you. I think that you should be honest with her, let her know how it's affecting you, that it's getting to the point of maybe like thinking about divorcing. See if you can, like, if she can understand how her teasing impacts you, because it sounds like maybe she doesn't. So she could work on being more empathetic. And then for you to kind of figure out like how much can you take and can you participate in the jokes back and forth. All right, Andrea, we have time for one more question. Why don't you give us the last one?
So I just had a difficult breakup. It only lasted 4 months, the relationship, but I did fall in love. And what makes this remarkable is only the second time in my life I have fallen in love. The previous time was with my wife. I was married, had a late miscarriage. She had an affair. And then died not long after that. So it was very difficult. I worked through issues with PTSD for something else, went through EMDR, came out great, had a lot of therapy. Yeah, I had a little bit of an issue with anxious attachment sort of issues, but I found someone who was great. I mean, really, without being delusional, we were very alike, had a great time, but suddenly the mood shifted, and turned out she had talked to her therapist about the stress she was under, and she had recommended at that time to break it off, and that was very difficult. I knew she had some issues going on with stress in life, and finished up a divorce, and she had been through some abusive relationships before, but she was happy and always conveyed being to have someone to at least be there and positive to work through it. But when she said that her therapist recommended that she spent some time figuring this out, being on her own, I can't argue that. It's mental health. I get it. So I said, okay, of course, the hope is that at some point we'd be back together, but you and I both know that's not always the case. So you have to pick yourself up and move on. I mean, she did say at some point she'll be ready to date again, and I'd be at the top of that list. Her therapist said not to be exclusive. I get it. It's part of who she is, but of course that was a punch in the gut. And again, I can't just wait. I have to pick myself up, dust off, and move on. But again, in the long time, only 2 people. I've dated a fair number of people, and only fell in love twice, and it's kind of difficult to let that go, regardless that I need to. So with that in mind, I know you said that, no one's defective, but I do feel a little defective in this whole thing. It's tough, such a stretch between people, but how does one get up really and dust themselves off when it's been so hard to find someone where they actually have that level of chemistry to fall in love and to actually just go for it again? I don't know, the difficulty and kind of the strategy there. And I know that at a certain point emotions are talking right now, but when it has been so difficult, I mean, how do you get up and find the optimism to move on and actually look for that?
Okay, I don't know if I'm like on my period or what, but I was getting coffee this morning when I listened to this for the first time, and I started weeping.
Oh.
Maybe it's his accent. I love the way he articulates the whole thing. I could just feel it. You know what I mean? And is this a thing, by the way, is that common for a therapist to advise that you break up with someone, and even if you're not considering it? Is that real?
No. That's not typically what therapists do, but I think that
right?
She maybe got that message, or she created that message. That's what sort of resonated with her. So,
right.
If that's how she experienced her therapy and that's what's helpful for her, but therapists aren't supposed to be like, you should break up. You need space, unless it's an extreme situation. But I don't know the details. So, but that's not common.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate. We've all been through heartbreak, and when it's fresh like this, every single piece of advice sounds cliche and annoying, and yeah, whatever. But if someone, I'm getting the sense, it's not like her therapist held her down and put a gun to her head and said, you got to end this relationship. For whatever reason, she was giving off a vibe to the therapist, and the vibe was giving it right back that this wasn't going to work, at least for right now. Mm-hmm. If someone doesn't, you got to just learn, if someone doesn't want you the way that you want them, you can't be with them. And it's the hardest pill to swallow. It's terrible. And I'm not even saying that she doesn't necessarily want you, but you can't sit around waiting for someone who doesn't like you the same amount. It's just never you will never be happy. There is always somebody, especially for a guy like this, I like him. He sounds so mature, and I like the way you carry yourself. I like the way you explain your feelings here. You are a very well-rounded man. You really seem very mature. I like your perspective on this. I like the way you're handling yourself. You are a catch, my friend, and you will find another person. Or maybe this girl will come back, but you can't be waiting on it. I don't like that advice I don't like that she said, you'll be the first on my list when I'm ready to date again. Yeah. That's keeping you on the hook in a way that I think is a little actually inconsiderate and disrespectful. Mm-hmm. You will pick yourself back up. No one wants to believe it, but everybody does eventually move on. But isn't it the least attractive thing in the world that this person didn't see you as like, I must have you now, the way that you feel about her? That's not fair. You sound like a quality guy. Like, I know it's so hard to believe, but you know what I mean? Like, no advice is great when you're heartbroken, but it's the truth. What do you think?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And this guy does seem like a quality guy with good emotional intelligence, and he just wants to be in a good relationship where he feels the chemistry. And the marriage that he was in, right, that ended, that was so tragic and traumatic, like, oh my God, that is a lot, buddy. And so for you to then eventually open up to somebody else and fall in love with, like, you had to open your heart and be so brave and really like vulnerable and choose to fall in love. And we love that for you. And you're probably really guarded. You're guarding your heart because of all the pain and trauma, the real pain that you've gone through. So I get this is a really big deal. But like Talia's saying here is that like, she wasn't matching that for you. You felt like she was like such a great catch and she was the one for you, but she didn't feel that way for you. Probably because of her own issues and her own shit that she's going through. I also don't like that she was like, you're on the top of my list if I do, because then it is giving you false hope and isn't really allowing you to move on and to grieve and to get over it. Like you can grieve and get over it if you make the decision to do that, but this is fucking with you, and it's actually not very cool or emotionally mature for her to say that, even if it's genuine and she feels that way. Don't fucking say that. Like let him go so that he can go on his own journey. You know what I mean? But whatever. We don't need to like talk too much shit about her. You think that she's great, and so we're going to take your word for it. All the advice does feel cliche, and it's cliche for a reason, because it's like kind of true. You will get over it. You are going to be fine. You probably have to do some more grief work and sadness. So feel those feelings, write them down, talk to a therapist, talk to your buddies about it. Know that this is going to pass, even though it feels like it's not going to pass. It's going to be okay. And then eventually when you feel good, you can get back out there. Or even if you feel bad, you can get back out there for like a fun distraction. As long as you're honest and upfront about what you're looking for, then we love to see it. But this is kind of like, this is going to take some time. And I also get that you're turning it on yourself. You're saying like, there's something defective about me. There's something wrong. Like that's kind of, it's sort of like, that's not true. And it's a way to feel like you have some power and control. Like I'm doing the thing that's wrong. So if I can fix myself, then I won't be defective anymore and I'll be attractive to other people. So I think that's just sort of like a false sense of control that you're going through, blaming yourself. It feels like maybe you have some power over it. But this is just sort of like a heartbreaking breakup that you're going to have to get through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Everyone has it every couple years and it sucks. It sucks. So bad.
It does suck so bad.
So bad.
Good luck out there. Talia, this was so good. I'm so happy that we finally got to connect. Yes, I need you back.
Anytime. And I will let you know if I'm in Portland or come to New York. We'll hang.
I can't wait. Can you remind people where they can find you if they want to learn more about you?
My name's Talia Lickstein. I'm somewhere tweeting or posting about Vince Vaughn, some platform or another. I'm the same on all the platforms.
Cool. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Problems. Okay. We've identified my problems. Now it's time to get to work. Patience, communication. What did he say again?